This is a podcast from RNIB's Insight Radio.
Now, the charity Deafblind Scotland recently organised a tasty event in Glasgow, and they're also helping look after the weight of people with sight loss and hearing impairments as well. To tell us more, we have with us Drena O'Malley from Deafblind Scotland. Drena, perhaps you could tell us first of all a little bit about the organisation.
Yes, thank you. Deafblind Scotland's been around in Scotland for 25 years, serving people who have a severe dual sensory loss. And about 800 people nationwide are signed up members to Deafblind Scotland, although we do believe there's more likely to be something close to 5,000 people in Scotland with a severe dual sensory loss. Obviously, we're always looking for ways to raise awareness of deafblindness and also to raise some funds so that we can better serve deafblind people, or indeed to build our new purpose-built Learning and Development Centre. So one of the ideas for raising funds and to raise awareness was about dining in the darkness.
What about the services themselves then, Drena? What do they involve?
The services at Deafblind Scotland are focused primarily on providing information, advice and support. A regular newsletter goes out in all the alternative formats that you can think of at Insight Radio, but also including in British Sign Language for our Deaf First deafblind people. So it's a big part of what we do is just keep deafblind people informed. Another big part is the provision of a specialist guide communicator service where the individual is trained and acts as the eyes and ears of the deafblind person. Apart from that, we've normally got several projects running which might provide activities for deafblind people.
And we have with us Lee Steichel. Lee, you had an event in Glasgow that Drena mentioned a little bit about there. It sounds very tasty, but really about awareness raising as well.
Yes, definitely. I mean, I think taste was a big part of it. So we had about 50 odd guests come in at Mother India, and Munir Mohammed, the chef patron there, created a menu specifically for the night to heighten the senses of taste, touch and smell, as our guests were donned with ear and eye defenders so they couldn't see or hear anything. We also tried to keep the room as quiet as possible at times when we were serving up the food so that they could gain a real experience of what it would be like to dine as a deafblind person. So we had about 4 courses, and it was really just to raise awareness of the everyday challenges faced by people with a dual sensory impairment, and a lot of our guests were very humbled by it.
I'm registered blind myself, but to have the hearing part taken away as well must make people feel really isolated. So
definitely.
Was there a big part on this to do with touch and taste?
In a normal circumstance, when you're out for a meal, then the presentation of the food and also the atmosphere of the restaurant does add a lot to the overall experience. And so we really did try to heighten the other senses which a deafblind person would have in those circumstances. So there was a lot of different spices and herbs used, a lot of different textures used for the food as well. So there was spicy, sweet kind of tastes in there, and then maybe crunchy and smoother feeling sensations as well in the palate.
Did you enjoy it?
Yes, it was a very good night. All of our guests had a great time. Again, as they said, they were very taken aback with the whole experience. For example, they didn't kind of realise the layout of the table. They felt quite disorientated. So at the end of the night, we got everyone to take off their eye and ear defenders, and a lot of the feedback was they did feel quite lonely. Again, they couldn't speak to anyone. There was a lot of kind of feeling about the table. There was, for example, we've got the wine and water bottles there, and our guests couldn't quite tell them apart. So they were mixing maybe their red and whites together, which wasn't quite good, but it was quite chaotic, but definitely a great experience. It was a lot of fun as well.
Really valuable learning curve for many people there. It sounded like a great event at Mother India, and you really got the awareness raising there, but you're looking to go beyond that, Lee?
Yes, we are. For Deafblind Awareness Week, we decided to introduce a Dining in Darkness and Deafening Silence kit for home. So this enables our sponsors or anyone that finds the charity or the event interesting to have a night in with friends and family. They can order this pack from Deafblind Scotland by getting in contact with us, and we provide them with one set of eye and ear defenders, a couple of menus that we have previously used for our events, so to give them a few ideas, and also a kind of how-to guide as well, which we have a few fun-filled things for them as well.
As we are talking about food, it kind of moves us on to another interesting theme, another collaboration which Deafblind Scotland has with Counterweight, and we have Louise with us from the organisation. Tell us a bit about the organisation Counterweight.
Counterweight is an organisation that's been running for around 15 years, and our focus is to help people manage their weight through long, sustainable lifestyle change.
And why get involved with Deafblind Scotland?
Okay, so we're always looking to provide programmes that are appropriate for the individual's needs. Counterweight very much focuses on the individual around why they want to lose weight, what changes they need to make to their day-to-day habits. And working with Deafblind Scotland gives us the opportunity to tap into the expertise within deafblind so that we can adjust our materials so that the information and the advice is relevant to the challenges facing the deafblind population.
I mean, it's challenging for most people when it comes to watching what they eat and their diet and so on. So did that pose any challenges?
I think we're very much in the development stage at the minute. Just to reinforce that currently in the UK, 2/3 of the population are likely to have weight issues, so they're either overweight or indeed obese, and that pattern's likely to be the same for the deafblind population. I think in this population, however, there are additional changes when people decide they want to make positive lifestyle adjustments. So, for example, if we use increasing physical activity, the sighted population can decide that they want to go out for a walk independently. But the deafblind population would probably have to find either a guide or some suitable facility that they would feel safe and also manage to undertake the activity of their choice. So working with Deafblind Scotland very much gives us the opportunity to adjust our materials so that it's appropriate for this particular population.
Interesting, because when you first started talking about Counterweight, I thought it's really just getting the message across in terms of information, leaflets or DVDs and so on. I never quite thought of the actually going out and perhaps shopping for the right foods or doing the fitness thing as well, because again that throws a lot of other obstacles in the way for someone with dual sensory loss.
Absolutely, and I think an awful lot of the population have a sense that weight management should be quite easy. All you need to do is eat less and exercise more. But when you come down to the specifics around that, it very much depends on the individual's decision-making process. And that's what we are here to do, is to try and help the individual with sensory impairment decide, first of all, why they want to change their weight, why they want to change their dietary and physical activity habits. And then, as you rightly say, what are the practical issues around doing that, whether it be around shopping, cooking, physical activity, etc., etc.
Drena, a lot on food there, from the awareness raising at Mother India to looking after weight for people with dual sensory loss, exercise, the practicalities therein. So a lot to consider, but you do have an event. Again, we're looking at food again.
Yes, we are. Just to give a quick mention to the fact that our next event for Field of Dreams will be an afternoon tea in Glasgow in the Radisson Hotel on September the 20th. So you've got lots of time to plan what you're going to eat and have a very healthily eating afternoon for Deafblind Scotland.
You have to say that. Louise is here. She'll be listening to every word you say. Drena, just finally, if anyone would like more information about the services for Deafblind Scotland or like to know more about the events and the fundraising, how do they get in touch?
OK, well, they could phone Deafblind Scotland on 0141 777 6111 or go to the website www.deafblindscotland.org.uk.
Thanks for listening to this podcast from RNIB's Insight Radio. For more podcasts, check out insightradio.co.uk.